Bring it on! Woo!
Yes. Oh, yeah.
You did it, Ryan. Oh, dude, no. Try coming through there at night.
I mean, I did go through it, and there's like dogs just come out of the woods and try to eat you.
Oh, did you see the German Shepherd?
Yes.
All right, hi YouTube. This is Ryan. I am doing a quick bike breakdown of my 2023 TNGA. Just finished this morning at 11. Wanted to break the bike down, but get a quick video like Tom Kessling, I believe it is, on YouTube. He did this and really helped me kind of get dialed into the setup that I wanted, so I'll share it with you. All right, start off, and I'll try to be quick, just make the video not last forever. It's a 2019 Ibis Ripmo. Great for the chunky stuff, not great probably as an overall TNGA bike, but the best bike you have is, or the best bike for the TNGA is the bike you have for bike packing in general, so this is what I went with. Pretty standard setup for the Ripmo, nothing fancy. Performance is 36 up front and DPX2 in the back. 29er wheels and the stock rims, pretty much stock all the way around. I did use the clipless pedals. I don't normally ride with clipless pedals, but for TNGA, it's something I used to do in the past, so I knew that would be more efficient for what I wanted to do for this race. And then I think I got a 150 box transfer dropper post on here, and I really wanted to be able to use that. So this rack system, the spider rack, really helped. The Aeroe spider, make sure that was possible. That was a big deal for me, what I really wanted for my bike. So I'll kind of walk you through that. Yeah, this is the Aeroe spider. It can be configured in a lot of different ways. Look it up. It's a really great rack. It performed flawlessly on the track. I'm not sponsored by them. They didn't. I paid for it, and it's great. I would highly recommend it. Really good rack system. I just bought the two little racks and then used my own bags. You can buy bags from them, or if you have your own bags, it works with whatever. So let's get into all the bike stuff, and then we'll get into the bags a little bit. So this is just a Blackburn bag that fits in the middle right here. This is where I keep my tools and anything I need to repair right there. So just a cheap Blackburn bag. Had it for a long time, and just it fit perfectly there. This one I actually bought for the bike is just a Rock Bros. Try to measure that triangle dimension that's really small right there. Sorry about the siren there. And so this one was just the right size. Found it on Amazon, and it worked perfectly actually. I had to kind of do my own little adjustments with these Velcro straps to make it work the way I wanted. But it kind of sits in a nice little cable, kind of holds it in the bottom, so it didn't move around a lot. And that's where I kept most of my food, in that storage bag down low. I originally tried putting a bladder in there, but I ended up just carrying water bottles. I didn't want any weight on my back, so I wasn't going to carry a hydration bag. I'm not the lightest guy, and so I just wanted my body to be the only thing on my seat and saddle and weighing me down, and so I didn't do any kind of pack, and everything is on the bike. So I ended up going with 4 different bottles. These are the polar bottles. They insulate a little bit, so like when I'd stop places that had ice, it stayed cold for a little bit, or if you get it from a stream, kind of helps, and so that's kind of nice. This is just a regular bottle I already had. What else is on here? So these front bags are Blackburn. They're not the best. They kind of started breaking down. One of them broke, but able to kind of keep it on the bike. This one, so I didn't put a lot of weight on this one. The other one that's newer has held up better. This one I had for a long time, so maybe it was just wear and tear. The other one seemed to held up okay. On the back here, my little saddle bag, this is a Bontrager one I had from the bike years ago. So just a little saddle bag that I would keep my water purification. This is just a Sawyer, the larger size Sawyer, so that the flow is a little bit better. So I just had the Sawyer and the squeeze bag, and I actually had brought a second bag, but the bag, my second bag was actually just a Target bag or something. It was broken, so that's perfect. This has a little bit better flow than the smaller version, so I like it. Took that on the Appalachian Trail a bunch, and it's just always been flawless, and that's just the bag that comes with it. So used this quite a lot, especially yesterday, going through the snake and all that. I'd use that a lot. I do have a just a spare tube right there. Never had to use that. Never had any issues with my tires or pressure. I lost a little bit of pressure in the rear, and I just added tire pressure at the last day there to get where I went. This is an Icon 2.6 in the front, and this is a Race Recon 2.35 in the back, and those were great. Just to kind of have my Ripmo set up for more XC kind of long distance riding. Typically that would be, you know, DHF or something in the front and an Aggressor in the back, and so those tires were perfect. Used them for training, used them for the race. Put a little bit of extra sealing in there before I left the night before, and they were perfect. All right, what else? I got an REI bag here in the front. This bag had my electronics in it. I throw some food in there when I needed to. So as far as electronics, I had my AirPods if I needed to just have a story or something to listen to, music. Carried a couple of these battery banks that just had I already had these for a long time, so 2 of those brought with me. They did pretty good. What else was in there? Oh, I kept like my cash and my wallet stuff in there with me, so I just brought, you know, a couple cards, cash, and then I throw my little sport fork thing in here, but I had like 2 of these and they both broke. I'm just, I guess, kind of aggressive when it comes to eating. They're good. Up front, I had a couple of these Night Rider lights mounted up, and then I zip tied them because in training they kept falling off. So I zip tied them on, which means charging them is kind of a pain because you have to bring the charger, you know, put the charger in here, run the cord to that, and that worked okay. I also have an iPhone holder up here. I don't love this one because it worked great. It's the Delta, whatever. It covers up the camera, so like I wanted to do some video where I was on the bike, and that didn't work. So I would probably change that into something a little bit better. Plus, every time you need to like swipe or do something, these corners are in the way. So try to get something that doesn't inhibit where you need to swipe. Like if I wanted to go to low power mode or, you know, airplane mode or something to make that phone last longer, because I was using Ride with GPS and my Garmin 530 for navigation. So something better there might have been okay. I got a little bell on here. That's just been on the bike. I never took it off. Up front, I originally had in one of the Aeroe bars up here with just a cheap Amazon additional bar, and I attached it up here. It broke going up Trey Mountain. The actual bar, the cheap Amazon bar, broke. Luckily, the Aeroe system is all modular, and so I could just take that rack and readjust the other rack that I had on the back, make them both fit, and I was able to keep going. So I was on like Trey Mountain at an angle like this, 5 o'clock in the morning, I think, repairing my bike because that broke. So I would probably do this setup again, though. I really liked only having my it's got these cheap just Crocs up here, that knockoff Crocs that, you know, gotten Amazon or something. But I really liked having not a lot of weight up here. It made the ride much, much better. So I would probably set it up this way from the get-go if I was going to do it again, because this was perfect. I've got these ergon grips in the front, gives you a couple different hand positions. Never really had too many hand issues, a little numbness from time to time if I'd stay in the same position too long. So my biggest piece of advice for that would be stand up and then, you know, sit down, stand up, sit down. Just kind of keep that going and keep that variety, moving your hands around wherever you can. I think it did make my bars a little bit wider than I would have liked, but I don't really want to cut them shorter because then my other grips won't feel quite right. So a little bit of a compromise. Everything on the TNGA is a little compromise. You have to figure out what works for you. But I liked those. I used them in training, and I knew that they were going to do me well. They're the Ergon GS3s. All right, what else is on the bike here? So the spare tube was there. I took these Toe Peak bottle cage holders and used a clip, like kind of you tighten with a screwdriver, one of those metal clips you get them from the hardware store, and tighten those water bottle cages on there to carry 2 water bottles on either side as well. So I had 4 total, mostly just polar bottles that are insulated. And so I could carry 4 water bottles, and then at the end, going through the snake, I carried a 5th like Gatorade bottle up here to have just my special drink. I really liked having you know, like you buy a Coke at a store or something that's just a little different than your water with electrolyte mix. So that was nice to have up front. I also attached this. It's just the KS like grip things that you can buy that wrap around and then you can attach a water bottle thing to it. This wasn't great, but the position was helpful so I could just swipe out the water bottles when I needed to. But this ended up breaking right at the end, and so now it twists and whatnot. But overall, that worked well. I do have some duct tape wrapped around the stem there. Never had to use that, but it would come in handy if you did need to use it. What else? I've got my spot tracker. Mine did not ping as often as it should have. It's got to be open to where everybody can see it from the sky kind of thing. And mine was having some issues, so I don't know if I was in the way or if my Gen 3 was just an older version and tried to update the firmware and all that, but it had some issues as far as tracking out. All right, in this big saddlebag here, this was one I had bought again on Amazon. This would keep a lot of my just stuff, right? So I got this bag with some of like my toiletries, and it's actually a Big Agnes Air Core matte bag, but I just liked how light it was and it could zip tie. Oh, I did keep my extra Sawyer plunger in there. Had to use that a little bit to clean it when I got to like stops where I could use some fresh water and clean it. I did bring this string to throw my food, or actually I would just throw everything in this bag because it had, you know, smelly stuff in it, and throw that up in a tree. And so I'd use that rope for that. Also in here, I think it just has some bandages and that kind of stuff, and yeah, just a little hostage tape, and that's it. Not a whole lot in there for now. Toothpaste, that kind of stuff. All right, what else? This is that extra bag I was telling you about. Didn't end up working because it had a hole in it, so that should have tested before I left. This is like my little savior bag. You need one of these. I brought the A&D ointment for my feet and my hands. Definitely need that. This is the destined for the parts that don't see the sun. Really had to use that like twice a day, and then just some of this Gold Bond powder to throw on, and then some extra toilet paper. And that was all that's in that bag. You got to have a bag like that, or you are not going to make it through. A lot of people that I talked to that scratched were people that had bottom issues, and so take care of that. In here I have some of my electronics. I have this little plug that could fit 2 USBs, and it just has a flip down plug in the back. And then these shorter cables, so like an iPhone cable. What else here? I had my watch charger cable, which I probably didn't really need, but I wanted to be able to charge my watch when I did. Maybe that's my luxury items. A head lamp for this is just a battery powered one in case I ran out of charging ability. More just micro USB cables to charge my stuff, and then another battery pack like I mentioned. All right, so these bags are just the PFG. I've had them for years. You know, they were supposed to be waterproof Columbia bags. So there's different sizes, different colors. I like the sizes and colors so that you can tell what's in your bags. If they're all the same color and the same size, then it gets kind of confusing. This was actually my Element. So I took Element electrolyte mix, and I really like the Element stuff. It doesn't make your stomach upset. It doesn't give you, some of the other stuff gives me like diarrhea and stuff. Element is great. I just poured a bunch of those packs in here. You can leave them in the packs, but I just wanted to have them all like in one place, so that was just like a little Tupperware thing. This is my clothes bag, kind of small, but this is just a generic, I think, waterproof bag from Amazon. And as far as extra clothes, man, I'll tell you what, busy place today. Bring extra socks. I had like 3 pairs of socks, went through them all. They get wet and you need to keep your feet dry, so wool socks. Merino wool is great if you can get it. So those are perfect. Merino wool underwear. I actually changed the way I rode. Starting, I had like these merino underwear plus my chamois, and you know, just some shorts like this with a liner. And by the end, I was just wearing the shorts, no chamois, no underwear. Best combination. Worked perfectly. I know that sounds weird. Normally, I would not ride without a chamois. Because I feel like your parts just aren't secure enough, but by far that was the best way. This is a merino wool shirt. This was like for when I stopped somewhere and I wanted to smell halfway decent. These don't get all rank like some of the other stuff does.
Okay.
So my video cut out, my storage was full, but anyway, merino wool, good stuff. This was just one I ordered on Amazon. I think it's merino tech. So that's nice. You can get whatever color you want and it just doesn't smell bad, which is nice. All right, I think I just had the other thing in here was just my rain jacket, which we didn't get any rain. Hallelujah. But you know, you're carrying around something from one side of the state to the other and it's a bummer, but those are the risks you got to take. This is just a rain jacket I had. It's probably a little bit bulkier, Columbia, you know, so had that, didn't have to use it. You can also use that for your sleep system if you don't want to bring like an extra quilt or something. You can use a jacket, a rain jacket that can kind of double as both. So, and that is it for this roll-up bag that was in the back. So probably a lot of weight in that, but not too bad. Let's break down this other bag real quick. So these straps are great. These are the ballet straps, and you can get them online. And so this other one I just used Aeroe straps that came with the spider rack, but on this one I used the ballet straps. They just cinch down. They're super nice. This was an extra one I just brought in case anything fell off the bike. Sometimes you just need to strap something down. These are worth it. So again, yeah, looks backwards to me. I don't know if it looks backwards to you. I kept my little red blinky on the back of this bag with this bright orange showing so that cars could see me, and then I had the blinky. Works pretty well. All right, this is just a Sea to Summit bag that I had for backpacking and stuff. It cinches down nice, just a stuffed sack, so works well. Rolls up. This was my sleep system, so didn't end up using quite as much as I thought I would, but I did need it, so there's that. Some people, you know, didn't bring any kind of sleep system or just like a jacket. So a couple little stakes in there from one of my tents. They're the small, you know, just tiny little snakes that don't weigh very much. For part of the tent that I had. This is just a quilt that was from Costco, and this one is just a down quilt, and that kept me plenty warm. Probably the temperatures were pretty hot this year, so didn't really even probably need that, but wanted to have it in case temperatures did drop. This is the Aeroe really light helo straps, so those worked well, and they are light. I've got the Atlas straps too, but those helo ones, they're light. And then this is my hammock, and I did bring this emergency. I figured if it got really cold, I could throw this lightweight emergency blanket in the bottom of my hammock instead of bringing a pad, and maybe some of that heat would reflect back up on me if I really got cold. So that was just kind of one of those emergency things just in case. And then this is my Aeroe hammock, just a normal Aeroe hammock with a bug net around it. So the Aeroe bug net that they sell, I think I got one of the lighter ones, but I just keep the bug net on the hammock, and then it just quickly clips, and you can set that up nice and fast if you leave it in there like that. So that worked well. All right, what else? So those are those two bags. Again, one of those bags was in the front, and one of them was in the back, but the system is modular, so you can move these racks around, which is really, really nice. Anything else? These flip-flops, like I said, just strapped up here. I just used a ballet strap to strap those up. So they just literally strapped on there. Oh, my saddle is an Ergon gel saddle. This thing, after I took the chamois off, was much better. I think with the chamois, it's too much slipping and sliding around, so I would go no chamois. And if you're gonna wear underwear, merino wool underwear, and just have them be tight. But honestly, just shorts like this with a liner, you can't really see that, is what I ended up wearing. So like this, these are just cheap shorts, no special brand or anything. They just have the little liner in them. This was all I wore, and so, you know, you've got a liner for your parts, and yeah, that's just simple, easy, worked really well. I also have this jersey that I wore. Sometimes I wore this, or I wore actually like a little tank top that I had. And that worked well too. This one has the pockets in the back. It's nice to have these pockets because you can just shove stuff in there. And then I was just riding with this like unzipped because it was so hot. So you can do that, and then it kind of catches the air for you and cools you off. So every time I go down a big hill, I'd be like air conditioning, and it felt good. Another pair of socks, my Zoic chamois that I would not bring again. These were just darn tough socks that I had. I did bring some AirPods, like I said, to listen to stuff. Keeping all that charged is, here's what you got to do. Every store you stop at, every place you go, first thing I look for is an outlet. Find the outlet, plug in stuff, ask, do you mind if I plug stuff in here? And that was the very first thing I would look for wherever I stopped. And just charge stuff as I could and just keep it going. So I think some people have like a hub that charges. I'll have to look into that, don't know. But that would work awesome too if you could do that. This just attaches, the Aeroe attaches to that bar there, and it's all one Allen key to adjust it, so really super simple. I think I covered everything that you all would want to know. If you have questions, put them in the question area and I will try to answer you. All right, go for it. It's tough, it's miserable, but it's worth it in the end. I did have one crash right at yesterday where I hurt my wrist a little bit, kind of went over the bar, but other than that, I had a good run and finished, I think, in 5 days, a couple hours. So hope you all enjoy the video. Let me know. Bye.